Hi there! Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite Pokemon games of all time. Yes, we're doing another top 10 video because I like them. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Pokemon games of all time and from my little Pokemon plushies. And so yeah, if you want to hear about that, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to be listing these in order from least favorite to favorite. Now, granted, there are a ton of Pokemon games out there, like a ton. This is 20 plus years worth of content, baby. So if your favorite game didn't make it on this list, that's okay. Just tell me about it down below, okay? Because we might have differing opinions. I have some more like not low key, some maybe not as popular games here on this list. And so if you haven't heard them before, because maybe you're a new fan and I put you on, you're welcome. And I hope you enjoy them. So wait, I'm going to be starting out with 10 and going to 1, with 10 being my least favorite and 1 being my favorite. I like all these games, so it's not like this, I'm not like, oh, this sucks, you know, but these are just some of my favorite games. I like them all. Caveat. That's my asterisk. I like them all. So my 10th place for my favorite game is actually going to be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and I'm going to kind of put them all in here, even though I didn't play all of them. I think the one I remember playing first was Explorers of Time. I think that's the first one I played, and then I got the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on the Switch, except I kind of screwed myself because I stopped playing on the Switch because I got stuck. I'm at like a checkpoint where I can't necessarily go back, but I can't progress either because I'm like out of items, so I'm perpetually stuck, so that sucks. Yeah, I can't remember what that one's called. I think Mystery Dungeon Super, I don't, I'll be flashing pictures of all the game cartridges here, so you'll know what I'm talking about for sure. But I'm just gonna put all Mystery Dungeons on here. I like them all. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the series, is like basically a Pokemon dungeon crawler. If you are somebody who plays games other than Pokemon, you probably know what a dungeon crawler is. But in case you don't, in case you only play Pokemon, if you've never heard of this, a dungeon crawler is basically like a game that involves a lot of mazes. Yeah, you traverse mazes on different floors. There's like always multiple floors, and then you get to the top, and there's like the boss that you gotta fight, right? But on the way there, it's a bunch of mazes where you collect items and then you fight smaller monsters. So this is a game mechanic. It's not something Pokemon invented, but Pokemon did their own version of this, where you are a Pokemon, you and your little buddy, and you go through the mazes and fight other wild Pokemon. And then at the very end, there's like some boss Pokemon for you to fight. The thing that's cool about Mystery Dungeon is, for me, like the story writing aspect of it. So I'm talking about Explorers of Time specifically because that's the one I played. You kind of like wake up and you don't really know why you're a Pokemon, and you're trying to figure out that story of why you're there in the first place. And I really felt like I formed a friendship with my little buddy. And like I was just like, there's like some antagonists for sure, like big bads, but there was also like just an annoying group of bad guys, and it was kind of fun to like just, you know, have beef with them, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so with Explorers of Time too, there was a mechanic I really liked that I think Pokemon should introduce in more games. I just don't know how. But you would take like a personality quiz in the beginning, and it would kind of tell you what Pokemon you were. So I always thought that was really cool. When I was a kid and I played this game on my DS, I think it was on DS. When I played it for the first time as a child, I did the personality test and I got a Mudkip. And I thought it was really cool because I really like Mudkip. And I would always pick Cyndaquil as my buddy because I also think Cyndaquil is really cute. But then I played that as an adult, I think, and I got Pikachu, which I was a little bummed out about because I was like, really? The protagonist? Really? Like, there were so many options. But yeah, I got a Pikachu, so I was like, okay. It's funny because I got Douglas to play that for a little bit because I was curious and I wanted him to take the test. Douglas is my husband, by the way. And he actually got a Skitty, and I thought that was so adorable that he got a Skitty. Like, it was so cute. I don't know. He's just adorable. So yeah, I like that he got a little pink cat. And he also like, so Douglas also knits, so he's always around yarn anyway. And I just think he's cute. So Yeah, that was really cute that he got Skitty. So every time I see Skitty now, I think of Douglas, and yeah, I just love that. So yeah, that's why it's number 10. It's not really a main series Pokemon game, but it's something I enjoy. But again, I'm not a huge fan of dungeon crawlers, so this is why it's like lower on my ranking, even though there's parts of it that I really do enjoy. So yeah, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon in general is 10 for me. Number 9 is actually going to be like Let's Go Eevee slash Let's Go Pikachu. I put Let's Go Eevee on here because that's the one I played and I really enjoyed. I know some people don't really like this game because it is so it's like we already had Kanto remakes. Okay, so we had the original games and then we had Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, right? So those were remakes and those are good games too. I really like those. So then you have a remake, which is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. This was done to try to get people who played Pokemon Go into the main series franchise. So a lot of the Pokemon catching mechanics are the exact same as Pokemon Go, where you just kind of toss balls and you try to catch multiples of Pokemon because it gives you a reward. But other than that, is a similar storyline to the main series games. There's the content is slightly different, I think, because I know they have a character show up that's from Alola, briefly, but like it's the same map. It's the same sort of 151 Pokemon. It's like you can get Alolan region Pokemon in that game too, I think, because I think that came out around the same time as Sun and Moon, but I'll have to check myself on that. But just up to a story, and it was like a little bit like if you kept your Eevee or Pikachu, they were kind of overpowered because they had all these special elemental moves, and they were clearly like just an overpowered Pokemon. So this was like a very like training wheels version of Pokemon. Pokemon's not a hard game. Like people make it hard, but and its core Pokemon's like supposed to be a role playing game that's very kid friendly. So it's not like super difficult. But I thought it was cute. I really like the animation style of this game. If I'm just vibing and I don't want to think, I like playing this game. It's easy and I like it, and it's a little bit nostalgic for me while feeling like something that's new. So I really enjoyed it. I'm not one to exclude Pokemon Go players. I think at first when Pokemon Go came out, I was kind of gatekeepy, not gonna lie. But I've changed my mind since then, and I'm like, you know what? Like other people enjoying this franchise is not taking away from my enjoyment. So yeah, let's just vibe and talk about Pokemon. Hell yeah! And the thing that's great about Pokemon is that it's so customizable because there's so many Pokemon. Like you're not likely to have the same exact team as somebody else, or you're not likely to have the same favorites or whatever. So it's not really like super competitive in that way as like a franchise. I know some Pokemon fans can be intense, but I promise I'm not. So yeah, I like Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. It's number 9. Okay, so this next pick for me is based off of pure nostalgia. Sorry, but it's Pokemon Silver. That was the first game I ever played as a little one. And I really like Johto because of that. I like a lot of Pokemon designs from Johto. My favorite Pokemon of all time is from Johto. It's Quagsire. So I love Quagsire. So yeah, I really enjoy Pokemon Silver. I'm actually replaying it right now on an emulator that I got for Christmas. I saw it on TikTok, but then I showed it to Douglas and he probably bought it someplace else because he doesn't like TikTok. And that was actually my Christmas present. So I've been replaying Pokemon Silver and it's just been a lot of fun recently, battling Whitney over and over again. And I don't know, it's just nostalgic for me. The old graphics are nostalgic. Would I want to play that all the time nowadays? No. That's why it's ranked lower, because those graphics are rough. But it's nice when you want a little taste of something. So that's why Pokemon Silver is number 8. Number 7 for me is actually Pokemon Go. I like Pokemon Go. I don't play it as much anymore because for me it's kind of died down. But I was like a Pokemon Go stan for a very long time. I started playing right when the game came out. And that first summer of Pokemon Go, I swear to God, was the happiest I've been in a long time. Or I think that's like my last memory of just pure joy for something like so silly. It's hard because the world is so doom and gloom these days, and I just remember that summer as being like the last summer of like optimism. So it is what it is. Anyway, I love Pokemon Go. One of my favorite memories of Pokemon Go is when the first summer I got my brother played, I got my stepdad into playing, and he got real addicted, and he was learning so much about Pokemon through that game. It was really funny. But we all took a day trip to Chicago and went to Navy Pier, and caught Pokemon, and there was a crowd. Lots of people, lots and lots of people playing Pokemon Go, and like a Gyarados popped up, and like at first some people were like sneaking towards it, and even my brother was like, Cassie, look at that, and we were like following these guys, and it turns out like, oh, someone caught a Gyarados, and then like everyone just rushed, like sprinted over there to catch like an imaginary Pokemon. And this was before those Pokemon were really widely available. Like catching a Gyarados was like a big deal in this game at that time. It doesn't seem like a big deal anymore, but that was like, oh my god, you hit the jackpot, because that was when like they only had the original 150 Pokemon there. So people were wilding out and going crazy. That summer was so hot, but I had like my Team Mystic sweatshirt on. Like I thought like I was, you know, super fan. So anyway, that was one of my fond memory, my first favorite memory of that. And then I kept playing. I even played in Boston when we lived there for quite a while, and I would go to community day events. I would go to a couple of them, and there was one I went to where they actually had a Pokemon plushie raffle, and I won a little Lapras, and I was very excited about it. So yeah, I just love community day. In Boston, it was cool to do that with folks. I didn't really make friends, but it was kind of nice to be in like a communal environment like that. I don't know if Chicago has them. I could probably find out, but you know, we just got here, so I guess a girl's got to still learn. But yeah, I don't really play anymore. I could, but I will still have those fond memories, and that's why I love Pokemon Go so much. 5 and 6, I'm going to put together, because 5 and 6 is Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Sapphire. Now, I talked about how Johto is nostalgic for me, but Hoenn is super nostalgic for me. I think that's like my favorite region, or one of my favorite regions of all time. That's the game I played that after I played Pokemon Silver, and I don't know, Hoenn just speaks to me for real. I love those games. I could play them over and over again now, even with those graphics like they were. I just love the coloring. I love the Pokemon designs from Hoenn very, very much. The story's kind of goofy, but I really like the story of it too. It's like simple and kind of goofy. So yeah, I have these two here just for nostalgia purposes. I'm sorry. Hate on me if you want, but I love Hoenn. Okay, number 4 is actually Pokemon Channel. I referenced it in a video I posted last week, but Pokemon Channel was this game for the GameCube, and it was like not a main series game. It's so random. Like, so they basically just made a game where you could watch TV with a Pikachu and like order stuff from QVC, watch the news, the Weather Channel, and like just go outside occasionally, right? And that was it. And it was so good. There was like a Squirtle trivia show, and like that's how you earned money, and then you could buy like Pokemon dolls or stuff for your room on the Pokemon QVC shopping network or something. I'm like trying to remember, because I haven't played that game in years. Like low key, like I think my brother and sisters, like we had a GameCube in the house, the one my sister and I would share, and I know she has it at her house. I know she just claimed it, and she claimed all my GameCube games, even though the GameCube was in my room when I was living at home. When I went away to college, she just kind of snatched that. So I haven't played Pokemon Channel since then, and it makes me sad because I really want to play, but I don't have a GameCube, so that sucks. But it was one of my favorite games. It was so simple, and like honestly, no fighting. I wish Pokemon made games kind of like that now, but I don't know if there's a market for it or not. But yeah, that's why it's number 4. I love that game. I wish I could play it again. It's like lost to time. It feels like a distant memory now. But yeah, so that's why it's number 4. Okay, top three. These are some heavy hitters, so get ready. Okay, number 3 is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This is also a GameCube game. Yeah, there's a lot of GameCube games that are my favorite. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is the sequel to a game that was also on the GameCube, where you kind of were more like a rogue character, and you snatched Pokemon from bad guys. Team Snag 'em. You would snatch them with your robotic arm and take the Pokemon. But you wouldn't just be able to take any Pokemon. They had to be like shadow Pokemon. So they were like Pokemon. I don't know if they were abused or what. Truthfully, were they abused? I don't know. But they were Pokemon that were like the door to their heart was closed off, and they had like a negative aura about them. And you had to take them and raise them and train with them, teach them what love is. And then there was this whole like aura cleansing ceremony, and they would open their heart to you, and then they would be like normal Pokemon again. The caveat though is that the shadow Pokemon, like had their own type almost, and like they were stronger than normal Pokemon. So it's very tempting to keep them that way. But at the end of the day, like, you know, they're gonna open. It's the right thing to do. You need to be saving the Pokemon, okay? Okay, we're not all bad guys. Okay. So yeah, that was basically the whole thing. The vibes of that game are a lot of fun. You play as a younger character compared to the original game, and you have a sister. It's more in line with the actual Pokemon game because it's a young boy going out and doing whatever. It's like not cyberpunk, but it kind of feels that way because the region itself is more kind of cowboy-ish slash there's some areas that feel futuristic, so I don't really know, but anyway, it's a cool game. You should really check it out. Number 2 on my list is Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm sure y'all know this game. It came out recently. And Pokemon Legends Arceus is a Switch game that feels more open. It was marketed as open world. I don't think it's technically open world. I think they were very they were pretty, what's the word, gracious with that labeling and marketing of open world because and they kind of did that for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet too. I guess that one's technically open world because you could do the gyms in any order, but Pokemon Legends Arceus still had an order to it to go along with the plot. So yeah, you could kind of travel anywhere you want in that region, but there was still power scaling and certain regions weren't unlocked until you hit certain levels. So I don't know if it's open world or not. But anyway, that game is, I don't know if it counts as a main series game. There was a lot of hype for it. And it's basically you get thrown back into like ancient Japan or Pokemon's version of Japan, and you get thrown way back in time. And you like get adopted by a village and you go out and do quests, and the Pokemon catching mechanic with that is crazy. Like you have to crouch and like throw balls and try to sneak up on them. I think the process of catching Pokemon was made extra fun in that game. Like you still do battles and stuff, right? But it's more battling to catch Pokemon than anything else. And the story in that game is a lot of fun. There's stuff for like new fans who don't do Pokemon, but they like this kind of game. So it's a good way to introduce people to Pokemon. But then they also had characters in that game that were the ancestors from other Pokemon games. So other gym leaders, you know, they had ancestors in that game, and it was a fun Easter egg for a lot of older fans to see. And I really appreciated that. And then what else was good about it? Oh yeah, they had giant Pokemon, and oh my god, some of these Pokemon would attack you. It was all crazy. You get adrenaline pumping. But I really like the style of this game. I think this was a huge success for Pokemon. I think it got a lot of people interested in it again. I hope they can make maybe their own series of this, but like not anything too crazy, because I don't think it should have game on game on game on game. But I would like to see another version of this game and continuing on with that same creativity, because Pokemon's all about the lore, girl. Lore, lore, lore. There's 20 years of lore. This only added a bunch to it, and I really appreciate this game for that aspect of it as well, you know? So that's why it's number 2. Number 1, my favorite Pokemon game of all time is Pokemon Colosseum on the GameCube game. So I know I put the sequel on here as number 3, but the OG is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. This could be nostalgia, because Legends Arceus was pretty close. This could be nostalgia. But Pokemon Colosseum is all the things I told you about Pokemon XD, except you were an older person and you don't have the same moral compass as the little kid. You were part of the evil team in the beginning, and you betrayed them. And this whole time you're like, am I good? Am I bad? I don't know. You get this hot little redhead who can read auras to be your sidekick the entire time, and you still steal Pokemon and try to, you know, stop the evil team's plans, but you definitely have that more cowboy rogue feeling aesthetic to you. This game is a little bit grittier. It feels that way. It's not as watered down. It's more watered down in the sequel, but this game in particular feels pretty nitty gritty. The soundtrack pops. These games are all double battles too, which I enjoy double battles. So you start out with an Espeon and an Umbreon, which is pretty cool. And then you can build your team around that by you capturing all the stolen Pokemon, you know. But I love this game. This felt very experimental for Pokemon. It's got the Shadow Pokemon stuff and all that stuff I mentioned before, you know. The plot's pretty interesting. The battles are difficult. There's like a whole battle competition area where you go through 100 floors of trainers, you know what I mean? and it's required to do that for the plot. But I just really love this game. I thought it was creative. I thought it was pretty edgy for Pokemon. It's kind of like Unova or Pokemon Black and White, but like cowboy, I guess. I don't know. This was definitely more experimental for Pokemon, and I really wish they would do stuff. I like all their experimental stuff. The main series games are fun, but I get kind of tired with the same sort of story over and over again. Let me see other aspects of this universe, Pokemon. Let me learn, okay? Let me see how we can push the boundaries here. And I know it's a kids franchise, so you can only do so much, but that felt as adult as Pokemon could possibly get was Pokemon Colosseum, in my opinion. So if you want a Pokemon game that feels a little bit more adult, this is a game to go for. Okay, so thank you for listening to all my opinions. I really appreciate it. Do we have any favorites in common? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to help out this channel, you could like the video, comment down below, share with a friend, or subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it because, you know, if we get more subscribers, then that could be a way for me to know that I should push more content out to you guys. And I would, you know, dedicate more time and effort to this channel. It's just kind of hard with life right now, but I'm doing what I can. I really want this channel to be a place of fun for both you and I. And yeah. I really appreciate all the help I can get. But yeah, until next time, thanks. Bye.